and welcome back to Linda Love Talks. And this is Politics Edition. And I have no other than Mayor Joe Nicastro here for this Politics Edition. So I'm so happy that you could join and very honored to have you on my show.
And thank you for having me, Linda. I'm honored to be here.
Yes. And if you wanted to fill in the public, the listeners, a little bit about your background and how you became our new mayor.
Sure. Yep. I'm living in Mount Olive, New Jersey, obviously, out in western part of. We're about 20 miles from Pennsylvania, out west. Married to my wife, Mary Lalama, who is also a councilwoman in town. Won this year. We have 5 children between us, and we've been here in Mount Olive for 21 years. And I've been involved in the political arena for the last, well, this will be going on 13 years, I believe. So that's the short history of where I'm from here. And business owner. I own my own. We own a group of newspapers. Community newspapers are still good. A lot of people say papers are not, but community papers are good. And last year we purchased a bagel shop. We're still trying to figure out why, but we did, and I enjoy it. So between that and our businesses and the political arena, it keeps us busy.
I can only imagine. So again, thank you so much for taking the time.
No
I think
problem.
it's so imperative, and that's why I have this show. I think it's so imperative to have sometimes a third party media like myself. But
Mhm.
with regards to if people wonder if I'm red or if I'm blue, if I'm a Republican or Democrat, um, honestly, I'm not going to state it.
No.
I think that would ruin the show anyway. If you think you're tuning in to me and you're going to listen to Fox News, you're not. If you think you're tuning into me and it's going to be CNN, it's not. It's more like informative
Mhm.
and, straight to the heart of the matter and straight to the heart. And speaking from the heart, I think that's so imperative and important. And there's no spins on the show. So
The
I
way it
asked
should be, right?
Right. I ask the question and I ask whoever's on the show to answer it to the best of their abilities, and to keep, the public informed. And that's why, hence the show was created.
Well, thank you for that.
Yes. So, what made you decide to get into politics?
I've looked at politics many years ago when I was had my newspapers and we were down in Pompton Lakes. My partner at the time wanted me to run for mayor down there, but at the time it wasn't right because I had young children. So, I knew it would take some time. It wasn't where you're supposed to be at that time. Eventually, when I moved up to Mount Olive, about, like I said, about 13 years ago now, another council person had come up to me to ask me if I was interested in running for council, which I was. And that's where it started. So he explained everything to me. We ran for council. And actually, when I ran for council the first time, I lost. And the woman that actually won my spot ended up having to move to Montana. And the committee picked me because I had the most votes next to her. So I got on council. She moved to Montana. I believe she became a senator there, actually, in Montana. So, through another council person, he got me involved and made me realize I always wanted to be involved in the community, and I usually was with the newspapers. So this was a different way that I can really do more. I'm a big believer in we're led to be where we're supposed to be at a certain time. So, someone wanted me here, and that's the path they wanted me to take instead of being a mayor or councilman in Pompton Lakes. I had to wait another 15 years to move up to Mount Olive to be where I'm supposed to be. So that's how I got involved.
You didn't give up, apparently.
Nope.
So you're busy running your businesses and publications as town council member. So what was your inspiration to run for mayor?
Oh, yeah.
Besides your background, I know you tried in
Yeah.
Pompton. What said, hey, this year I got this?
Well, being on council, it takes time to get used to all the things that and the governmental regulations and all the stuff that goes on. So over those years that I was on council for 12 years, basically, I learned a lot. I saw a lot. Our former mayor, Rob Greenbaum, who's a good friend of mine, was a big inspiration. He had taken me under his wing from the beginning. And I learned a lot. And the key was that, you got to love what you're doing. You got to love the town, and you get to see things being done in your own community. And being on council, it's great. You make decisions. Council does a lot of the legal stuff, the laws, and all of that stuff. The mayor runs the town. I mean, we
Mhm.
have our business administrator and the people obviously that we hire, but when it comes to final decisions, the mayor makes all decisions in town, to do that. So it's a whole different level. Council was okay. I'd like to do this. Now, if I'm mayor, I could say I want to do this if it makes sense. And of course, you listen to the people that you hire. But I just find that it was a logical next step to go after 12 years. And when Rob decided not to run anymore, it seemed like I would slip in and become the next, try to run for mayor, I should say. And
Correct.
I was fortunate enough to win.
So that brings me to the next question. What does the mayor do?
Well, the mayor does basically is I say this he runs the town because in the sense that we have the final say on things that even whoever works for us. We have a great BA. Andrew Tedorenko is a fantastic BA. We have all great department heads. These people have been here a long time, so you take their advice and you listen to them. They know better in a lot of subjects than I would know. But a lot of times you bring a new perspective to things as mayor, and as mayor, I'm in the office quite a bit because I like to be in the office. I bring new ideas that I want to do, and I listen to them. But the mayor basically is the person that everything falls with. So when there's issues, when there's problems, employees, and different things, the mayor has to make those decisions with the advice, obviously, like any business. You surround yourself with good people, and that's what you want to do. So the mayor does that. Plus, I do a lot of the meet and greets. Everybody likes the grand openings. You go see the businesses, and being a business person. That's one of the things I like to do. And if you look at my Facebook page, we go visit businesses all the time because my goal is to promote the local businesses because mom and pop businesses are still a big part of our community, and a lot of people don't understand that. They donate, they do a lot of things to the community that the big box stores are not going to do.
Hmm.
So for me, my vision and goal is to get out there and see more businesses, promote them more, work within the town, come up with new ideas, new ways maybe to do things, and work with the employees and just having a good work environment and hopefully make the right decisions that benefit the residents.
Absolutely. What is your vision for Mount Olive?
The vision for Mount Olive is it's such a great community. If anybody's ever been up here, they'll know the type of community we have. And a lot of people probably say that about their own towns, I'm sure. But Mount Olive is such a unique community. I mean, we're a very diverse community. We have a great recreation. If you've ever been up here, our Turkey Brook, our parks are phenomenal, especially our big park. Turkey Brook Park is probably the best in the state, I want to say, and I'm not being biased. It's a fantastic thing. So, I want to continue what we've been doing is to make Mount Olive accessible to all our residents, bring people together, do more to, just keep it as a community. We don't have a downtown in Mount Olive because we're, pretty much, we're the second largest municipality in Morris County next to Parsippany. So it's a pretty big community that we have here, over 30,000 residents. But my goal is to make it like a community, and that's where we use our parks for recreation and different things to bring people together. And I just love seeing that when the community comes together. And I just want to continue to do that, bring things to the people to make them happy, to enjoy the town, to make their lives nice here in Mount Olive and enjoy it. So that's really what I'm trying to do is bring people together and make it more of a community, even though we're such a large community. Make it more homey is what I like to do.
Absolutely. And speaking of initiatives, what future green initiatives and renewable energy programs do you propose for Mount Olive?
Well, right now we've done. I've done. One of the programs. We have the what do you call it, electric stations now. We brought in electric stations, and I know it's renewable. You're asking, but we finally brought in the electric chargers in our parks in our municipal building because more people have obviously the electric vehicles. We work on the lighting in all our town halls to be able to reduce the electric consumptions. We were looking at hybrid cars and vehicles. Mount Olive is a very big community, as I said, a lot of mountains, a lot of hills. So it's kind of hard to get 100% electric because right now it's not where it needs to be yet. But we're looking at those. I did a recycling program with plastic bags now for over 3 years through Trex, the company Trex. And we send hundreds, if not thousands, of pounds of plastic bags back for recycling. And in return, we get a bench. So every year we've been getting a bench. And I think we're on we just got our third one or fourth one. So, we're looking at those options. I've looked at solar in different areas that we'd like to go into. We have one of the largest solar fields here in Mount Olive. next to our Walmart.
Hmm.
It produces a ton of electricity, and it's a great solar field. It was an old contaminated field that turned it into something now that is bringing revenue into the town, but it's also helping the environment because we have all the solar energy there. I'll always look at the new trends, see what's out there, and how we can do that to make it better. Without hurting the residents. You got to find ways to have a good balance.
Absolutely.
So we'll keep looking at whatever's out there.
Speaking of residents, I've heard that this past Christmas and during the holiday, 165 needy families received were recipients of a holiday
Mhm.
dinner in
Yeah.
Mount Olive. How will the mayor, the administration, the council be equipped to assist people in Mount Olive next year?
Well, the food pantry is the one that takes care of this stuff, which is phenomenal. Sue Morse is our director there, and she does a phenomenal job. And the issue is always how much food you can collect. And a lot of times we can get the food, but the facilities that they are in right now, which is they use the bottom of a church in our town, is hard because it's not big enough. Most times they don't have enough refrigeration. They can always get more food a lot of times, but there's no place to store it because of that. So one of the things I'm looking into is to try and find a permanent facility that would be conducive to what they need, where they can get the walk-in boxes and the freezers that they need. As far as helping the residents, we do a lot of promotion for them to get food. In fact, one of our councilmen does the business every year, gets thousands of pounds of foods that he works with the food pantry with. We do a lot of things as well. I mean, we promote as much as we can. We get people to bring more food in and help the residents. In fact, my wife, who does we do a Thanksgiving dinner. I don't know if you saw that anywhere, but my wife actually, it's been now, I want to say 7 years or so. We were sitting around the table one Thanksgiving looking at all this food and saying, it's such a crazy thing that we're sitting here with all this food and so many people are hungry. So she started doing a Thanksgiving dinner on Thanksgiving, and we get the senior center, and some of the food's donated. We buy some of the food, and we all volunteer. And on Thanksgiving, we serve the people that come in, whether they're alone, can't afford it, seniors. It's just nice
Yeah.
to see the groups come together. We have a lot of people we deliver to that can't get out or need food as well. So, Mount Olive is just such, like I say, a great community. People step up so much in this township to help. Um, I have confidence no matter if it was 165 or 265 people, we will have the resources from just our residents without even me being involved to be able to help all these people because it is an unbelievable community when it comes to sharing and helping. So I'm confident we'll be in good shape to be able to help as many as we need, and hopefully it won't be as many. That's what we're
Yeah.
all hoping for.
Yeah. Speaking of your publications,
Mhm.
you own Mount Olive Life, and I brought you on the podcast to discuss the article that you wrote, which
Mhm.
with regards to your statements on diversity. Can you
Mhm.
expand on that article for all those who did not get a copy
Sure.
to read it?
Yeah, it was one of my big things I thought of when I was running for mayor. I really want to do a diversity and inclusive more so in the community here. Mount Olive, as I mentioned, is a very diverse community. And this is nothing political either, because it has nothing to do with politics, but it has to do with the fact that there are so many different cultures, so many different people, so many different beliefs, religions, customs, foods. We don't know what those are. And a lot of people either get scared from certain things that they see and they don't understand, or it bothers them in certain ways. But I think it's important that we have a committee put together of people from a diverse background that can give us the information on their beliefs. If I'm a Christian, then I'm going to give my beliefs on Christmas and why we celebrate it, why we celebrate Easter, what are our traditions, what are our foods, nothing to do with political of any sort. But if I'm whatever I am, if I'm Jewish, if I'm Muslim, a lot of people don't understand that. And I think it's important that we put something together that all of these people could talk about what they do and why they celebrate these holidays, and even give us recipes from things that they're the traditional family recipes, something different. And I want to post that on our website of our Be Mount Olive Being Diverse. Check out all these different types of people and beliefs and things that we have in town and get to educate people. And then hopefully do something with our rec department where we can do we do so many things as I mentioned up at Turkey Brook, but it would be great to do a world around the world type of food thing where
Hmm.
we can have a food festival from foods around the world. At the holidays, when we celebrate certain holidays, I would love to have these little booths set up with all these other holidays showing things. So when people walk through a Christmas scene or they go through this, they can see what the Kwanzaa means or what the Passover and all these other holidays that are near it mean. Because I think it's really important. As well as I do, the world today is just there's a lot of intolerance of
Hmm.
people, and that's got to change. And a lot of that is because people don't understand people.
Right.
We're all the same. I always say that, and I wrote something else. We bleed the same, we do everything the same,
Hmm.
and it's important that we try to respect each other for who we are and what we are, and understand why. And that's why I want to do this, because I think it's really important, and I think it'll help the community come together more, understanding each other. So that's really what my diversity and initiative program is about.
I love it. I think it's phenomenal, and it's such a way to just be allowing and including people in the community. And not only that, but expanding everyone's cultural intelligence.
Yeah.
As you well know, as a business owner, you have to have that in life in order to be successful and to understand the world around you.
Yeah, yeah, it's really important, and there's so many customs of things, simple things. We have friends, all many of us have friends from all different cultures and different things. And a simple thing like when someone, and I say simple in the sense if a family member passes and you want to go to the wake or you want to go visit them at the service, you don't even know what to wear, what to dress, full, what's not. And I've caught myself at one time going into a wake where everybody was in black and I was wearing yellow, so it didn't seem to match the custom of that.
Hmm.
But I didn't know; nobody was saying anything. But
Hmm.
the point was, if I would have known what their beliefs are, their customs, and it wasn't disrespectful, it was just a fact I didn't know. And I think that's what we need to understand more of, is just what you're saying. We got to include people and understand them more, and it's just simple things like that make a better community.
Definitely. And talking about Mount Olive and how it has grown immensely in businesses and new housing, will your office implement new infrastructure?
Well, here's the story with the growing. So I
Yeah.
know we always get the fact that we're growing too much and there's too many homes going up. The interesting part of that is there's couple of developments that went up since I've been in council. I think it'll be the third one coming up now that went in. Most of these, well, all of them, I would say, were approved prior to any of us being in council. Because if you know how it works, a lot of times people have these land, they get their approvals, and number one, it takes a long time to get, and then they just wait and wait and wait. The housing that went up wasn't things that I would say I was thrilled with, but we had no choice in doing because of the fact that legally they have the right to do it and there's no way to stop them. The issue in Mount Olive is I love Mount Olive the way it is. We don't want to grow outside of where we have our farms, we have our open space, and quite frankly, we have a ton of open space and farms and a lot of parks because we purchased a lot of open space to keep it open. We have a lot of farmland that was, purchased or being used. So I don't want to see it grow to the point where it's going to become a metropolis. That's not what we're looking for. We have two main roads, which is 46 and 206. Those are the main highways in town. Those are our business districts. Those I have no problem developing because those areas we have. The one thing we have to understand is, as residents and politicians or anyone, is you can't survive without having ratables. You have to find a way to gain more money in taxes from businesses and all in order not to raise the taxes on the the
Right.
residents. Now, Mount Olive is in the Highlands, not to get too technical, but if somebody doesn't know what the Highlands is, basically it's a restricted area that they put in many years ago where you can't build on certain lands. Mount Olive is in 80% Highlands. So we only have 20% to build, which means this last development that's going in our ITC, which is about, I believe, 500 homes, townhomes, that whole combination. That's the last development of any housing of that size we can ever have. There's no land left. And that will be an issue down the road because not that we want more houses, but if Highlands will lighten up on the highways where we have open space and we can build businesses, it's going to be hard to get revenue to offset taxes. And that's why, it's tough. Infrastructure wise, we have what we can do. We have our water and sewer where we can put it. And again, Highlands comes into play because you can't even get water in certain places because of the highlands. You can't dig up, you can't go here, you've got plants, all these things that come up with the highlands. So infrastructure wise, the issues we have are the two main highways
Mm,
because they're very crowded.
mhm.
We have a lot of accidents. 46 is a very dangerous road if you've ever been up here. People are speeding. We're trying everything we can, and the Department of Transportation has been very difficult to reach. I finally got through to them because I ended up texting the governor, and the governor got back to me in 5 minutes to his credit, and he put me in touch with someone at the DOT. And we finally have a Zoom meeting with them coming up on the 26th to discuss what we want to do with this, Route 46 and 206 to make it safer. So that's the infrastructure where I'm looking right now is what are we going to do to make these highways safer? Because it doesn't matter whether I build, we get allowed to build 10 more stores on 46 or we don't, it's still crowded no matter what, and people are still speeding.
Yeah.
So infrastructure wise, road wise, all we can do is do what the DOT allows us to do on those roads. Our other roads are good. We pave and take care of our side roads, which are very, quiet because it's not the main highways. Our water and sewers do very well. We have a lot of our own water department. We have a very good water department that takes care of everything. So I don't see any other, big things coming as far as having to do any more kind of water works, those kind of things when it comes to or anything. I think it's just our main highways are our biggest problem to figure out how to fix that.
My only small concern, and I don't know if you can do anything about it, but it's almost all the time that I go to WTC, the World Trade
Yeah.
Center
Oh,
by
yeah, the
Walmart.
ITC. Yep, International Trade Zone.
Yeah,
Yep,
International Trade Center, sorry.
yep, that's
International
fine.
Trade Center. Is that we have a lot more pedestrians now, and I believe it's the workers that work in the International Trade Center.
Mhm.
It's a lot, and I always try to give them space, but some people sometimes don't see them or they're trying to
Right.
cross. Will there perhaps in the future have some type of sidewalk that comes down the hill from Walmart? Because it's a lot.
Again, I have to check. That's a state. I believe we get. I don't know if that's our road or not,
Mhm.
particularly that comes through there. I'm not sure because I know we get grants from the state in order to do that, so it might be our road on the one side anyway. It's something we look into. We're trying to look at sidewalks now, actually, in certain areas, especially around the schools.
Yeah.
Is really where we're trying to do more. In fact, I just had a meeting Friday, a couple of days ago, with our business administrator and a former police officer who was putting in these. We're looking at options to get sidewalks in every neighborhood because we're not a concrete type of neighborhood. We like our green space and all of that. But where there is main traffic, like you're saying, down at the ITC coming down from Walmart, I'll look into that because I never thought of that before because I don't see many people myself because I'm not up and down there as much.
Yeah.
I come the back roads and I come in, so
Hmm.
I don't really see them walking. But yeah, that would be something if they're walking from there. You want to keep them safe because there isn't, the roads are so, because people come through there, you don't see them.
Yeah, at least, especially because people do seem to speed up to
Yeah,
towards Walmart.
yeah,
There's quite a couple workers that come up and down from there. They're trying to walk on the grass. Sometimes they're on the
right.
sidewalk, depending on the weather. And as you, I don't know if you know, but a lot of the workers that work there sometimes don't just work in one store, they work in two stores.
That's right. Yeah,
So, and they may not have a car or they may only have a family car, like a
yeah,
car for the household. So that
yeah.
would be great because I don't want to hit them.
No, nobody wants to. I don't
I
blame you.
don't.
But I will make a note of that, and I'll be in the office tomorrow, and I'll talk to my BA and find out about that.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate
Oh,
it.
no problem.
And going on with what is the best thing that you love about being mayor?
I love meeting the people more. I mean, I've done it as counsel, so I can't really say, um, that it's much different in that sense when it comes to seeing people because I've been fortunate enough, as you mentioned, to own, we have Mount Olive Life newspaper for the past 20 years. So having that, my face is always in the paper because I always kept it. So a lot of people knew who I was anyway.
Right.
But what I really like about being the mayor is now just getting into it because it's only been a few months. And it was very difficult in the beginning when someone would yell out to me, "How you doing, Mayor?" And I wouldn't even know who they were talking to because Rob has been mayor for 12 years, so I never even thought about it. It took a little time, but I do like the idea of being able to come up with new things and actually get them done. You know what I mean? Because it's different. Like I said, on council, you can suggest stuff, but the administration and mayor has to look at it and say, if they don't like it, they're not going to do it. But if I like it and I want it done, and it could be done, you can get it done, and it's just, it's a little more in the sense that you have the ability to do more, and it gives you a little more exposure. And like I said, I really just love talking to the residents. I get a lot of texts, a lot of my phone number's been out there for 20 years, so people will text me, message me on Facebook. I get a lot of messages, and they're all good. I don't care what they are. If they're complaining about garbage, sidewalk, that's the usual things.
Yeah,
That's usually what you get to. But I'll try to help them all. And I find that the most important part of being a politician is you're serving the residents. So it doesn't matter whether they're saying my garbage isn't picked up or my snow isn't shoveled. They're residents and pay taxes, and you want to try and help them. So, but being in this position makes it a little bit better because you have the ability to say, do this or go there and do that. So I
right.
really like that part of it as well.
What is the most challenging part of your job as mayor?
Well, you deal with there's two parts. You got to deal with when you have a lot of employees. You're always going to have issues, and the same thing in my own business. Doesn't matter whether it's my bagel shop or newspaper. You have personalities, you have people that you got to deal with, and you're dealing more. I always said when you're a boss, I've been self-employed my entire life. So, being a boss, it's more like a psychiatrist or psychologist a lot because you have to deal with a lot of people and you have to try and figure out each person, how they are and deal with them. So it's challenging working with employees, but I don't mind because I'm a people person. So I like to talk with them and help them if there's an issue. But it's also the challenge is really on the more serious side is what we just mentioned before is how do you maintain stable taxes as much as you can? We
Right.
did it for 12 years without a tax increase when I was on council, but now things have changed. This is the first year that we are doing a tax increase since I got in because of the economy.
Right.
Things are more expensive, everything is up and our revenue is down, just like everybody. Like look at everybody's households, it's the same thing. We got to pay more for gas, electric expenses, employees. So, that's the challenging part. And again, if we don't find a way to generate revenue, it would be impossible. And you can't have a tax increase every year going forward for the next 20 years. You'll just, decimate the town if you're trying tax increases too many times. People won't be able to afford it. So the challenge is how do we get revenue in, to be able to offset the taxes? And that's what we're looking at is how do I continue to do that?
Wow, that's amazing. That's pretty interesting. So, Mayor, we're at the end of the
Mhm.
podcast. And this is the question that I ask all my guests, which
Mhm.
is what message would you like to share with the listeners today?
Well, I'd like to share with the listeners today that, it's good to be involved in your community in some sense. Not everybody wants to be on council. Not everybody wants to be a mayor. They don't want to run for office. But it's really important that whatever you do, if you love your community and you want to be in that community, you can serve the community in many as much time as you want. Whether you want to serve on a committee, a simple committee that meets once a month to give ideas, different ways. There's so many committees each town has. A lot of people don't realize if you just call the clerk's office and say, is there any openings on any committees? They'll give you a list of what's open. And it may be an open space if you're interested in open space. It may be environmental. It may be parks and recs. There's something there for everybody. And I think it's really important when you're in community. And I know we're all busy, but we need more people to be involved. And it seems to go the other way where a lot of people are not being involved anymore. On a local level, I tell people the same thing all the time with this. We're not a national level of politics like you were mentioning before.
Right.
It doesn't matter to us. When I look at people in Mount Olive, I don't know who they are, what they are, and I don't care.
Hmm.
If they're a Democrat, Republican, Independent, and they're having a problem, it does not matter to me.
Hmm.
And it's the same thing. We should all look at the same thing at what's good for our township. We can't do things with national issues. I'm not here in Mount Olive to talk about gun control or anything. That's nothing I can really control nationally. But I could say, hey, I can fix your roads, pick up your garbage, take care of your snow, make you safe, which is always important.
Yeah.
And I think that's really what my message to people are is try to get involved in some sense, serve on a little committee. Even if you gave an hour a month, it would be worthwhile and you'll really enjoy it. You really would. So that's what I would say to my residents.
Absolutely. I think thank you so much for being on the show.
I thank you
And
for having me.
as you well know, your residents will know and the world because my podcast really goes all around the world.
Oh,
And I just opened up my YouTube channel. So
nice.
thank you.
Congratulations. That's good.
Yes, thank you. Thank you so much. And obviously, I'm also a book author. I have two books
Ah,
out.
very nice.
Thank you. So, thank you so much. And this is what I wanted to bring it with regards to politics, different levels, explaining what their job is, and just a different view and perception with regards to politics than your usual
I know.
noise. I would call it noise, right?
Yes, it's
Noise.
all noise. There's no more truth. I can't figure out anything anymore.
Yes, yeah. So thank you so much. I'm
Thank
going
you.